Alright, so it's been a little while since I've done a video update. It's time for a bit of an update here. Made some fairly significant changes inside the tank, mostly moving stuff around and reorganizing, a little bit of new SPS additions as well. We'll move on down to this end. You may recall I had a big wall hammer over here and had it there for a number of years. Wasn't an ideal placement because it was getting shaded on one side. While the top half was happy, the bottom half really wasn't, and took up a lot of space and prime real estate for SPS, and I opted to move it. Actually broke it into 3 pieces and moved it to the other side of the tank, at least temporarily. But this opened up a lot of space here on this bridge. Some prime real estate for additional corals, most of which has been in here sometimes. Some has been moved around. If you've been following my videos for some time, you can see I've been growing the SPS like crazy. Things have been doing remarkably well. Did get a couple new corals. My brother surprised me with some corals, and one of which was this beautiful strawberry shortcake colony. So not having the hammer there gave me some prime real estate for it. I think we forgot what that coral is there. I've had it for a little while. It's been growing really well. I think it's like a tricolor or something. I forgot what you call it. My little Garf bonsai. I've had it for a handful of months, and it's grown quite a bit and is actually spreading all over the rock. Hard to tell there, but a big bird's nest there was also grown from a frag. It was on this face over here. I have since moved it there and freed up some space for additional SPS. Got a lot of SPS frags in my frag tank, which we'll show you in just a little bit, but it'll give me some additional real estate for them. So been a bit of organizing or reorganizing, moving stuff around. I think in my last video I mentioned that I had this giant branching hammer up here. If you've been following my videos for some time, you'll remember the big huge colony of branching hammer I have up there. There's a small piece of it now, but this is an old branching hammer that I've had for some time. It was grown from a frag as well, but I had this giant colony of branching hammer that was a good 2 feet across and a couple hundred heads. I've grown it from a little tiny frag for the last couple of years. It started up about the size of my pinky nail. And I was catching a fish and managed to bump it with my trap, and in doing so broke a piece off. Well, tried moving it, broke another piece off, and one thing led to the next. When we were cleaning the coralline, which I don't know if you noticed, but all the coralline on my viewing pane is gone. That was my annual coralline cleaning. We again managed to bump it and finally decided it was time to clear out that peninsula and make way for some of the other corals, some new corals and some old corals. So you can see that peninsula kind of prime real estate is now taking on a completely different look. Piece of that branching hammer down there. The rest of it's in the frag tank, and I've been selling a little bit and trading a little bit. I think this coral here came in as a trade for it. That one there I got from a local friend in Reefer. The bird's nest came from a frag swap a couple months ago. That green stag or whatever it is, one that my brother got me, and so I was fortunate to pick up really inexpensively. It's some sort of a digitata or something. I'm really horrible with these coral names. I'm terrible with names in general. This acropora here was a casualty of the frag cleaning. It got broken off of another colony I have on the other side of the tank, so I glued it here about a month ago, and it's already encrusting over the rock and the epoxy that it was glued on with. Seems quite happy under the lighting there. Go around this side of the tank. As much as I love that branching hammer, it sure took up a lot of real estate, and having that space kind of gives the tank a new look. And it's nice when you can change things around without redoing your aquascaping. I mentioned that wall hammer getting moved and broken into pieces. There's one piece of the wall hammer, and it's funny, now that I moved it, it sure is a lot happier. I've got a couple other pieces of the wall hammer here. And that piece there is a good 1.5 feet across. Kind of hard to tell size in this tank because the tank is 8 foot long by 4 feet wide, but they're really big. Next to go is going to be these hairy green mushrooms. I've got some big rocks with lots of these mushrooms in it, and I'm going to clear them out and make a little rock, kind of bonsai tree rock sort of structure that I'll pin together and use that for more SPS placement. Good old bird's nest there, which is kind of, it's neat and all, but kind of an eyesore if you ask me. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. Time will tell. And this is the acro colony that broke a piece off. It wound up over there. But again, if you've been following, you can see that all the corals are growing like weeds. I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. I don't dose anything. A calcium reactor that manages my alkalinity and calcium. Only thing I do put in the tank besides food for the fish is iodine, which I add every week to 10 days, just a little bit of. But beyond that, that's it. Over here, the display refugium, it's a mess, but it's supposed to be that way. Got all kinds of algae growing in there, and really kind of helps keep my algae at bay in the main display. You'll notice I have no algae in there. And we got the frag tank over here. This is a somewhat new addition, but if you've been following my videos, I think I've touched on it before. This tank is 36 inches long by 20 inches wide by 12 inches tall. You can see a whole bunch of that branching hammer colony that was on the main end of my rock structure that got broken into pieces. I've been selling bits and pieces of it off and trading it. And on this tank, I've got a GHL Mitra LX7. This is a brand new light by GHL. It's made in Germany, and it's an incredible light. I really, really like this light. Don't get me wrong, I love the Kessels, but the color that I see for my corals under this light is night and day compared to what I see from the Kessels, and I'll kind of touch on that now. You can see the corals take on really a different look. I'm going to put the phone into my little coral viewer here. Hopefully you can hear me. But kind of cruise over here to strawberry shortcake. It's kind of hard to see that, but you can see it's really, really green. That strawberry shortcake is really, really green and red, whereas under the Kessels, it's kind of more of a whitish look. Doesn't have that green, neon green coloration with the pink tips. Got a scoly there that just colors leap out of the water. That is a purple dragon, kind of hard to focus on. Got some digitata there. Some bird's nests. And I don't know what this is. I forgot what they call it. I think it might be a Looney Tunes something or other. This is a little frag that I got at a frag swap about a little less than 2 months ago, and it's totally spread over the rock. But more importantly, the color change on it is insane. And that thing has completely changed colors into this beautiful kind of red, pink, purple, and blue and yellow color. Absolutely amazing. And it's spreading extremely well on that coral. So there's a very, very good possibility that, oops, very good possibility that in the coming months, sometime between now and year's end, a lighting upgrade may be on the horizon for me. Darn dogs. So, stay tuned on that. But I'm really, really liking these lights. The coloration that I'm seeing is really spectacular, and seen very good growth as well. So quiet. Oops. There's the frag tank. One more look at this side of the big tank, and there's one other addition in the house, which we'll touch on in a moment. Got a message from a friend on my reef forum, or on a reef forum I should say. Guy is local to me. He's been in the hobby and just recently set up a new tank about 3 months ago. And I guess he's retired and his wife wants to travel, and gave me first dibs on his tank, and the price was such that I really couldn't pass it up. I got the message on a Saturday and was down there that afternoon to break down his tank. We'll go take a walk over here real quickly. This is 90-gallon rimless. Came with live rock, filter, had a Radion Pro G3 light, which I've since switched out to a GHL Mitra 6200 that I had here. I'll sell that Radion Pro. It also came with MP40 quiet drive pump, which I replaced with a couple of the Neptune pumps that I have. It also came with the 2016 Neptune Apex, which I'm intimately familiar with, so it was a no-brainer. I went ahead and kept that on the tank, at least for the moment. May down the line switch to a GHL Profilux, but came with a nice sump. Right now I've got an Aquamax skimmer on it. That'll probably get replaced with a Bubble King. It came with a Seache return pump, but I used a Royal exclusive RD380 pump, variable speed pump that I had here. So I use that for my return pump. Right now it makes a little bit of noise because that skimmer is a little bit higher than it should be. I haven't bothered to lower the stand. If the skimmer was lower, this tank is silent. But with the skimmer up like that, it's making some noise because of where the drain is. But that skimmer will likely be replaced with a Bubble King Mini in the not so distant future, so I haven't really bothered to mess with it. Plus I really don't have any livestock. I'll have a little refugium in there with some Chaeto in the future. Got the space for it, but again, I got no livestock in here, so there's really no point. Well, it did have live rock in it. As with any new tank, you get different cycles beyond the first nitrogen or initial cycle. You know, I've got a little bit of algae growth in there, some diatom, a little bit of turf algae or hair algae or whatever that is, and all of which will go away in due course of time. And because of the different cycles, I'm holding off on adding any coral at least for a little bit until things settle down in that tank. Probably add some fish to it in the next couple weeks, but in the meantime, you know, just let it run and let it do its thing. But there you have that. We have our GHL Mitron and articulating mount there that's allowed me to aim it. I have it tilted a little bit towards the back to not only help with shadowing, but reduce the light bleed on the glass itself, kind of reduce algae on the glass. Kind of put the rocks together real quickly, just build them out and use some acrylic dowels in there to hold them together. I'm not exactly thrilled with the rock structure, but you know, it was something quick and dirty, it'll work. Also threw some stuff out of the main tank that had some coralline on it and some sponge on it to kind of further seed this tank. But eventually this will probably be predominantly an SPS tank. Clearly I have plenty of SPS frags, and there certainly will be more. Forgive the mess in this room, we have laundry to do. But there you have it, my video update. Things are obviously doing quite well. Our big flamingo down there, being camera shy today. Not like him, but I did clean the glass earlier, so that's probably why he's hiding out. And there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this update. Stay tuned. There will be more to come.